We are joined by Mr. Sachin Hans, who's the VP Collections from Indifi Technologies. Good evening, Mr. Sachin.
Hi, good evening.
So I have a set of questions for you about your overall experience at the summit.
Sure.
So firstly, I would want to begin with, how was your overall experience in this summit?
Oh, it was very, very exciting and very good. I mean, probably very well organized. A lot of people under the roof. So from tech to technology platforms to NBFCs, set of speakers. Quite an enriching experience. You got to talk to so many people. You met so many old colleagues. So it was a good experience. A fantastic day. Yeah.
Thank you. So the next question would be, what was your key takeaway from the session?
Yeah, so whatever sessions I was probably have been able to be a part of, there's lot of learning which is there. So there's a lot of awareness that probably many of us want to get into and understand. There are a lot of things in terms of strategy, how tech can help, how AI and ML are changing. The entire spectrum of decision making, not only in collections from where I pertain, but even in underwriting, business sourcing. So these tools, how do you use them? There are multiple options which we've even come across for the first time. So a lot of awareness is there, and probably these are the takeaways that you can now liaison and network with these people and actually get to do a real-time testing or a demo of their technology.
Yeah. So my next question would be, how was the audience feedback to your session?
The audience feedback was pretty good. So it was an interactive session. So we though were running short of time, but yeah, since it was collections and there were discussions on rural and everything, there were people who were keen to know various aspects from how do we hire people, how do we train them so that they are not rude to the customers on field. Some even wanted to know that how do you identify at what times we call people, how do we track that. So yeah, there was inquisitiveness. People wanted to know this, and it was a good interactive session.
So my next question would be, what is your view on the future roadmap of the NBFC industry implementation of all the latest technologies in the Indian market?
So like we covered this even in our panel, that this is probably now a future. So future means it is going to happen. It will not happen overnight, but there's lot of changes which has happened, and probably like one of the speakers actually said that COVID was a big learning. So post COVID, people have started understanding that things can be done in a better way. You need not necessarily do the same thing repeatedly without even understanding how it could be done in a better way. So all that has now come into place. We all need to learn and implement a lot of AI tools. Machine learning will play in. We'll understand how we understand the customer better. How can we predict his responses, his or her responses, and then probably take a decision which is much more informed than it was earlier. So all this is probably going to happen, and you will see the changes. You've seen the kind of fintechs which have sprung up. Most of them are doing very well. This gives the fact that people are taking the takeaways from the tech industry and using it rightfully, and helping the people the economy to grow.
So my final question to you would be, what challenges and opportunities do you foresee for the NBFC industry in the Indian market?
Challenges, again, like what we just discussed, or we were discussing, a couple of friends outside the session room. A lot of India and a lot of the business still is into the rural market. So though the tech based products, the tech boom is there, and fintechs are coming up, it is more or less, as of now, what I understand, maybe could be right or wrong, is restricted to a tier 1 or a metro location or a tier 2 location. But majority of your lending needs, majority of your credit needs are actually still confined, or still looked out for in the rural areas, a tier 3 tier. Now how do you actually horizontally deploy this tech advantage, leverage it in those locations, will be a challenge, which will be interesting as well, because now we need to actually go. So we have tried to probably cover the first aspect, moved very well in this space in metros and tier 1. Now we need to figure out how can we use it. So a person taking a tractor loan, maybe how can he be tracked digitally? How can he you can actually go and touch him, and you can make him repay, or maybe even source him using a AI based model. So all this is something which is like a challenge. Opportunities are that there is a lot of scope for credit. There are a lot of people, SME sector, many people who are looking for credit, which were not given the access because of limited trade policies or maybe limited scope of banks or NBFCs, with these fintechs coming in, with the digital technology coming in, most of them are getting touched. Even with a fintech sitting in one corner of the country is able to touch a customer 2,000 kilometers away. So that's the kind of opportunity which is there.
Thank you so much, sir. It was very informative and refreshing to hear your positive insights. Thank you again.
Thanks.